I thought that was a very unique pick.
How we doing, everybody? Oh, that was a little bit loud. Let's adjust that just a tad. Didn't mean to blow your eardrums out.
Damn, you
I
just
think so. I was just like, what
startled everybody.
Tuesday, June 9th, the year
Oh
of our
my.
Lord, 2026.
Oh
There's a Picks
my.
podcast. It's June. What? How you doing, Kai?
I'm doing.
You're doing meh.
My Knicks
Oh,
lost.
yeah, that's
they
right.
lost last night, Matt. The refs,
Yo,
man,
all right,
they
look,
want
look.
more games. It's not fair. Trump killed all the vibes because he's a rat and he fell asleep in the middle of the game.
Who, me?
What a bum.
Oh, he
Trumpy
did? Is that going around?
Yeah, he fell asleep and
I
left
had a
early.
mill and a boo.
And he killed all the vibes.
You know, he flew over our parents' house. I
Yeah,
saw.
he did, I heard.
I was there yesterday. I seen it. I saw.
Wow.
What is it? I think it's Falcon 1, right? That's the helicopter.
I don't know. Helicopter.
Well, there's Air Force 1, right? And then I think there's Falcon 1.
Of course, he flies helicopters, because I mean, helicopters are like very.
Helicopters are so liberal.
They identify as helicopters.
As an attack
now,
helicopter.
Yeah, the water's turning the frogs not only gay, but it's turning.
Turn the freaking frogs gay. Yeah, the Knicks did not lose. I think the better team was the Spurs last night, unfortunately, but there were some bad calls. Like when Wemby straight up just took his hand and just put it on the back of Brunson's neck and then just shoved him to the ground. That was pretty
disgusting.
I'll give it to you there.
And then Jalen Brunson barely steps on the guy's foot, and that's a flagrant.
Yeah, it's pretty
disgusting.
Gross. I'll tell you what's not.
And they thought the one guy was outside, and then at the end when they were like, oh, we were just trying to get a sub in, but the ball was already inbounded, and they were like, oh, I guess you know what? We'll give him a freebie here. That was disgusting.
We'll just give it to him. We'll just give it to him. I'll tell you what was not disgusting is we're talking football today, and specifically we're talking football. NFC football. This is our domain. This is where our birds live. Nice shirt, by the way. Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
So we're going to talk a little NFC today. We're going to change it up a little bit from last time. Last time was, here's this team, here's their depth chart, here's what they did, here's the draft, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of talk through. Generally, we're going to switch it up. We're going to briefly, if we need to talk about any, notable transaction, notable draft picks, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But we're going to try and be 5 minutes or less per team, rapid fire. We each got a question. We're each going to give an answer. What's going on with this team? What's your expectation? Could be about a player, could be about anything. But it's a pertinent question for each team. I got a question. Kyle's got a question. No This Week in Football because we're not in football season yet. So there's not anything to report on.
Yeah, we already reported on the.
We're gonna talk about
Myles Garrett news, which I'm sure
we're gonna
talk about, discussed during the questions today.
So, without further ado, I think we should just get right into it personally. And I don't think there's any better place to start because we're gonna be yapping about it all night. Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. All right. All right. A lot of big additions, a lot of big subtractions, and actually, looking at this, Kyle, you got Dontavian Wicks additions. Dontavian Wicks, Elijah Moore, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Damian Pierce, Andy Dalton. The big one, obviously, was Tariq Woolen. Love that signing. But then you look at some of the names we lost. A.J. Brown, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, Josh Uche, A.J. Dillon, Jahan Dotson. These are all huge names, if not contributors. Now they got back Braden Mann. They re-signed Grant Calcaterra. How? I don't know. Why? I don't know. Dallas Goedert, Marcus Epps, Fred Johnson. New OC, new offensive line coach, new passing game coordinator, new quarterback coach. My question for you, Kyle, is who will lead the Eagles in sacks in 2026?
Ooh, what a question.
I'll preface it by just saying, no more Jalen Phillips, no more Nakobe Dean. Agent Zero, Josh Uche, even though he didn't really break out like I wanted him to last year, he is gone as well. You brought back Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith on fifth-year options, but I think there's a plethora of players, right? Because Carter's going to get that attention. There's a plethora of players that could lead the team.
I have two answers to this question. One is I think it's potentially a player who's not even on the team yet.
Wow, that's not an answer I thought you'd give.
That's a spicy question because through the KB grapevine, I'm hearing heavy rumors that Nolan Smith and the pick we just got for AJ Brown and maybe another first may be be traded to get Max Crosby from the Raiders.
So what? A first round in 28, Nolan Smith and who and what?
And then maybe a first or second or something like that.
I
don't know. I just know the 2028 first and Nolan Smith are involved. Involved.
Do I like that? I mean, it's Max Crosby. I should like that.
It all depends on how he does training camp. Like this could happen during the season or something. But I'm hearing this. I'm like, it could happen.
All right. So player actually on the team. What would you give as an answer?
Player actually on the team. I think it's Jalix Hunt. That's what I'm saying. That's why I led with it not being on the team. Nolan Smith, the headline over the weekend, or not the weekend. This was a while ago in the offseason. Him getting arrested like all the Jordan.
Bro, that's bad. That's so bad. He should be suspended. I don't know if it's going to happen, but he should be suspended.
Probably not, because it's probably already been buried in all the other news headlines recently. It's been a while now. We'll see, but maybe there'll be in team punishment by trading him away. But anyway, I just think that Nolan Smith, I think he's good. I just think Jalix Hunt's an extending player. You got to remember that in college, Jalix Hunt didn't play defensive end until his senior year. He was a safety.
He was a safety?
So he's still arguably learning the
at that size?
He was a safety in college.
Bro.
Yeah.
I actually
didn't know that.
No.
He was a safety at Texas Christian University, which I think that's
where he went to Clemson.
He didn't.
I think so.
Jalix
or was it a
Hunt? I'm about to expose him.
Where was it?
Expose.
Oh, it was Houston Christian. Houston
Christian University.
You're right.
Ooh, exposed.
Right.
Anyway, he's still in the position. I think he's shown a lot of promise. He was really hot at the end of last year. Actually, he led the Eagles in sacks last year. I think he might have been tied. He also led the Eagles in interceptions.
Yeah.
Funny fact of the day.
We didn't get many picks last year.
But I think he led the team with 3 interceptions, and he led the team with 6.
They line them pretty exclusively.
I think it might have been tied
at the edge position. They don't really have him roll out. I guess they do have him roll out in coverage, but
he rolled out sometimes just because it's a Vic Fangio defense. But I just think he's a third-year breakout. I just really like him.
I
think he's got a good head on his shoulders, more than Nolan Smith, based on off the field issues. I just think that he's not he's not a first-round pick. He's not a flashy name, but I think when it's going to come down to in a couple years, either extending him or Nolan Smith, I think Jalix Hunt get extended over Nolan Smith.
We'll have to see. Nolan Smith, you got the 5th-year option, so that's going to have to be a conversation that you're having.
Yeah, and he could be.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a conversation. My answer to this question was probably just going to be Jalen Carter. You could argue Jonathan Grenard with that addition. The thing is Carter gets so much attention that a guy of that caliber. I say it like Myles Garrett, obviously.
I think the interior line, though, the big thing with them is I think not all the sacks they get is directly on them. The fact that you have them, I think Jordan Davis is in for a big deal too. But I think the pressure that they bring from the interior will allow for a lot of cleanup sacks for the guys on the edge.
All right.
And I don't think Jalix. I think you could argue any of them. Jalix Hunt. Who is the guy they traded for?
Jonathan Grenard.
On the name. Jonathan Grenard and Nolan Smith. You could argue any of them could probably lead the team in sacks. But I think the interior of the D line is clearly the strength of the Eagles defense. And I just think that Jalix Hunt, in my opinion, shows the most promise. But I think you could argue any of them. But I think a lot of it's going to be based on pressure from the interior.
Yeah. No, it's a valid point. I was torn to pieces when Jalen Phillips signed with Carolina, and now I'm well over it because we have Jonathan Grenard, which is probably right on the same level as Jalen Phillips. talent-wise.
Yeah, probably is.
And he's cheaper. A little older, but a little cheaper.
A little older, but
he's
a little
coming off
cheaper.
a really, really, really good year in Minnesota. I can't wait to see what Fangio.
No, he's coming off a bad year. He wasn't that good last year.
He played better than his stats
12
were.
Games. He was coming before that. He was getting like 10.
He played better than
pressures.
He played better than what the stats said last year. I'll tell you that much. All right, fire away. What's your question?
All right, my question. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball.
Fun.
So the Eagles' offense now, big changes to the Eagles' offense. They fired. He shall not be named.
Set him in the cornfield.
Sean Mannion, former backup quarterback for a lot of teams. Quarterbacks coach for Green Bay. Bringing the famous Shanahan offense to the Philadelphia Eagles. We don't know what to expect. A.J. Brown is off the Eagles, the diva man, who may or may not have been cheating on his wife with a masseuse, and Hassan Reddick was involved.
That's
Who
great.
knows? Jalen cared too much about football to be his friend anymore.
Correct.
So, anyway, with all that being said, what are your expectations, Eagles offense? What top blank offense? What are your expectations?
So, like, what's their ceiling, or what do I think?
What do you think? Like, what do you think is like top? Like, you could give me your
10.
ceiling.
I mean, top 10.
Floor and
so floor. I mean, what did we rank last year in offense? Probably not too high. Like, definitely bottom half. So, like, floor is probably bottom half. Like, somewhere in, like, that 16 to 20 range. If we're talking, like, strictly points per game, because it's, it's kind of a general question, we could get top 10.
I'm going
total yards or whatever.
I'm gonna do not total yards because that's like a bad thing.
2 points.
I don't know. I'm gonna do EPA.
Expected points on average. I mean, that's pretty.
Per
drive. I mean,
or no, expected
per
points per
play.
play.
It's pretty much a good indicator of points per game. Or it's your average points per game.
It's a really solid.
I mean, probably 16 to 20.
Expected points added per play. That's what EPA means.
I mean, floor is probably bottom half.
So last year, number one was the New England Patriots. I'm trying to find the list. AI, why don't you give me the whole list? This is tiers. I don't want to know tiers. I want to know just. God damn it. Whatever. Oh my god, I don't give a crap about that. I'm just gonna go whatever. Offensive stats. Yards. I'll do points per game. We'll do points per game.
Well, all right. So
Eagles last year were like middle of the pack. It looks like they're like lower middle.
So look, I'll kind of talk through my thoughts, and I'll try and sum it up as best I can in the limited time that I have. I think you're going to see a lot more intent behind the offense. And what I mean by that is you look at the McVay system, right? Heavy pre-snap motion, a lot of different formations. You're going to have, I just think it's going to be a lot more, like you're going to see like the motion is going to be a lot more intent. Like there's going to be a lot more intent behind what they're doing on offense. As opposed to last year where it was just like, why would it work? Like they just kept trying the same thing over and over and over again. And it just really didn't work. I think you should see a lot more play action. I'd love to see Hurts under center a lot too, and have him roll out. I think you could get, I don't think Pierce is going to make the team, but I think that you're going to see probably 3 guys run the ball a game, along with Saquon Barkley. So I think there's going to be a heavy emphasis on, just the overall motion of the team on the offense. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on trying to keep. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on making sure that they're executing correctly, is what I'm trying to say. So with that in mind, Jalen Hurts can absolutely be that guy. You've seen him have success in that kind of stable offense with Kellen Moore. They went to the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, it's not the same team. But it's the McVay tree. It's the LaFleur tree. It's kind of a lot of that. So I would say that this, in my humble opinion, we're probably looking at what? Anywhere from like that 12 to 8 range, probably, would be my expectation.
All right.
So I'll leave it at that because I could probably ramble about it for a pretty long time. But all right, we gotta step on the gas here, Kai, because we've been talking about the Eagles.
I think the Eagles offense is gonna be really good, and
yeah.
I have Devontae Smith as my early offensive player of the year.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
On it.
It's a lot to drop on me.
I think he's the next Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Njigba.
But I could talk about that more and closer to the season.
All right, how about we talk about our division rivals a little bit, right? So we got the Dallas Cowboys coming off a pretty meh season, if I do say so myself. The defense is where they really struggled. So my question for you, Kyle, is will the Cowboys allow more or less than 25 points per game in 2026? For reference, the Dolphins let up 24.9 points per game in 2025. That put them at number 24 in the league. So,
okay,
over under 25 points per game.
Over under 25.
They were the least. They let up the most points. It was like 30 something last year. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at this rankings right now just because I wanted to get a sense of what is the teams in that area.
I think it was like the Raiders.
25. I think there'll be less. I mean, this kind of leans into my question, so I might as well ask. My question was like right now, like one of the questions I asked last podcast was like, there's 3 new teams that make the playoffs, and based on what I'm seeing online, the Cowboys are a very trendy pick to be one of those teams. Obviously, the big question with Dallas is not their offense. Their offense was fantastic last year with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. It's the defense. So my question was like, do you the additions of Caleb Downs and a full year off-season training for Quentin Williams, is this enough and then bringing in the secondary coach from the Eagles,
Christian Parker.
Did they do enough defensively to reach the playoffs? That was my question.
Well, I think in time, I don't know if it's immediately going to be this year, but I believe in time that Caleb Downs will change that defense. He is absolutely that type of player. And I think that they were very, very fortunate to be able to get him at 11, because I didn't think he was going to be there at 11. And then they brought in Malachi Lawrence with that second pick. I personally wasn't a huge fan of that pick, but I know that I understand it. He's a run stopper. You need a run stopper. So I get the pick. And then they brought in Rashawn Gary on the trade. They traded for D. Winters. They signed Kobe Durant over from the Rams. So I think the Cowboys are doing good things, right? They got what they hope to be the guy who will kind of shore up that defense as a whole. He can play anywhere, right? He can rush the passer. He can play off coverage. He can be your boundary guy. Caleb Downs can do it all. He's that freaking gifted. I would have liked to see a little bit more of an emphasis on corner. I guess it just didn't play out that way. I know I said they got Kobe Durant. I think he's a fine player. I don't think he's a game-changing player by any means. So did they do enough? I don't know. I don't know if they did enough. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I guess here's my answer. I don't know if it's going to be enough this year, but I think they're taking steps in the right direction to kind of shore it up. I would even like to see them get even more corner depth, right? I don't know who else they brought. I'm sure they brought in more than one corner in Kobe Durant, but I would like to see them get as many guys in training camp at cornerback and just try and figure out, all right, who's the most talented and who can actually contribute the most to this team, because they were paper thin in the secondary, the deep secondary, and that includes safety. So I don't think it'll be enough per se this year, but I think that they're taking steps to make sure that it will be in the future.
I think part of that answer, which is probably the same as mine, is our Eagles goggles on. I mean, I went through my predictions of the schedule. I have the Cowboys at 8-9, which I think that also is inherent Cowboys bias. I think if I look at this team objectively, I think defensively, I like Christian Parker a lot. I think he's going to bring a better scheme than Matt Eberflus.
And
I mean, brought in
anybody could bring a better scheme.
Yeah, they definitely brought better talent as well. And I see why they're a trendy playoff pick. I'll never pick them playoffs. But I see it, so I don't know. They do scare me a
Well,
little more.
they had such a great offense last
I
year,
always
you
think.
know? They had such a great offense last year. So
And they
that's
still got the
why.
continuity with that. The biggest thing you got
I
going
get
for
it.
them is George Pickens a head case, and he
Yeah, dude.
explodes,
Yeah.
and not in a good way on the football field. That's what tears him apart. So I'm fingers crossed on that.
All right, let's talk some Giants football here. Who I thought had one of the best drafts of any team. They were able to get Arvell Reese at 5, and then they followed that up with Francis
Mr.
Mauigoa.
1.0 GPA.
Yeah, all right. Look, brain smarts, not so much. Football smarts, the guy's a freak. He's a freak athlete. So, um, I love going out there and actually getting an offensive lineman for the future. It's absolutely what you needed to do. As tempting as Caleb Downs was, I totally get it, and I actually like that maybe even more if this pick pans out than getting Caleb Downs. Now the big question is, who the hell is this guy going to throw to, aka Jackson Dart?
Odell Beckham Jr.
So, well, I'll ask you this: with Malik Neighbors being out for probably an extended period of time, which wide receiver on the team will step up and have the biggest impact in his absence?
I want to double check the depth chart just so I get familiar. I mean, we got Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, who's also apparently questionable.
Yeah.
You know who I'm going to say? I see it on here. Darnell Mooney. I think Darnell Mooney is really underrated as a receiver.
So,
I mean, granted, he had some injuries and stuff, but he was really good with Atlanta the past 2 years. I think he was with Atlanta.
Yeah.
He was very solid. I remember just like
2 years ago he had a really good year. Down year,
and also he had
year.
no good like cornerbacks or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
so I agree with you. I think it's
Mooney.
And the reason why is because with no Wan'Dale Robinson, right? I feel like Mooney kind of fits
that 1,000-yard season with the Bears. He
fits that profile
yards with the Falcons. And then he got hurt last year.
Yeah. Doesn't he fit that Wan'Dale profile? And like
yeah, he does.
Wan'Dale just PPR god, Wan'Dale Robinson. He kind of fits that profile. Short, scrawny, speed. But he's got
a better chance. Isaiah Likely could also be the leader in receiving yards.
It's possible. I think they're going to try and get Theo Johnson back involved in that offense. His rookie year season got cut short due to injury. Unfortunately, I thought he was having a very good rookie year.
So did I, yes.
But
got poked in the eye.
Likely is going to be that guy probably. I would imagine he's going to be the tight end one. So it could be Likely. The thing with the Giants is they use a lot of 12 personnel. I feel like they have a lot of dual tight end sets when they're out there. So, but it's an interesting thought. I noticed you didn't mention Jalen Hyatt. I noticed you didn't mention Juju, and I noticed
Juju hasn't really been in the league.
Or Calvin Austin.
Odell or Calvin Austin. Those are just guys. Like they're not gonna lead. No.
Probably right. You're probably right.
I think if Malik, it will be Malik Neighbors if he's healthy, which the if is a big if.
Well, he's not
so
starting.
I think it's gonna be Darnell Mooney.
I don't think so. I don't think that he's
for receivers. I think it's Darnell Mooney or Isaiah Likely if you hit the bet.
I would be surprised if Neighbors is out there week 1. That was a really bad injury.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
You see him at the softball game? He was like hobbling.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I believe you though.
Not good. Yeah.
Yuck. All right, shoot away, Kai.
So my question is: the Giants are very trendy with the Harbaugh hire.
Yeah.
Worst to first pick. Everyone's like ecstatic over it. At least when it first happened. But now you're hearing all this stuff with Malik Neighbors is hurt. There's the rough in the locker room with politics with Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart. But so I have a question. The Giants have arguably been one of the worst franchises since I've been a football fan back in 2012.
Probably right.
Basically, since they last won their Super Bowl. It's like them, you could argue just based on record, it's like they have almost the same record as the Jets, and the Browns are not too far behind. And it's like them and the Jags. Like those 4 teams have been dumpster fires since I've been in high school or right before high school. So my question to you is this Harbaugh hire, can he turn the franchise around?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think look, the biggest knock on Harbaugh is that he's a regular season god and he just completely fails every single time in the postseason, especially towards the end of his tenure with the Ravens. I feel like that was pretty much par for the course. So I think that he can absolutely turn the defense around at the very least, right? I mean, he's gonna be that whole he's gonna redo the whole defensive philosophy.
I mean, he's a special teams coach. Like he's not a defensive or
Well, he's a defensive minded guy, I'd say.
He's special
More
team
so.
minded. It's just Baltimore's a special.
More so.
They're a defensive team.
Are you saying they're not a special team or they don't
they
have
are
good special
Baltimore's
teams?
just I feel like Baltimore just in general is a defensive lean franchise.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
I guess you could argue the Giants are too, honestly. I mean, when
historically
for offense,
they won both of their Super Bowls on the back of, or the two of the ones in our lifetime on the back of that defense,
and even the other ones. You had Lawrence Taylor and everything.
Yeah. So I think yes, he's in position to turn it around. I think you're going to see a lot of different looks on the defense. He's going to have to make.
So by turn it around, just to make it like by turn it around, that means I would say make the playoffs 2 of the next 3 years.
I don't know, man. That means the Giants are back.
Exactly.
I think they go.
Playoffs 2 of the
I
next
think
3
all right.
years.
I think they go one of those years. I think they go sometime in the next 3 years. I think they go at least once. So they go twice. I don't know. There's too many question marks right now. You don't know the long-term health of Jackson Dart. You don't know the long-term health of Malik Neighbors. And if neither of those guys are going to be in the picture for most of that time, then probably not. The answer to your question is probably not. So I think it's very dependent on whether those core guys can stay healthy, can they stay on the field, and can they be effective on the field. I think it's a very big what if. So you're basically asking me, do I think those guys are going to stay healthy? Probably not. If history tells you.
Well, I mean, if it's a culture change and bring everything around,
maybe.
Harbaugh should be able to do with any town. You're saying it's relying on.
You're right.
I wouldn't
no,
say
you're right.
That's arguing that you're turning it around.
No, you're right. Speaking of culture change, talking about the Commanders next. So this is kind of a general question, but I kind of want you to lean into, what I want you to lean into, like what are they going to be doing more so on offense to kind of fix the problems that they had last year. What can we expect from Jaden Daniels in 2026 and new offensive coordinator David Blau, in your opinion?
I think with the Commanders, I think it's really interesting because last year, obviously, Jaden Daniels was kind of riddled with injury.
Yeah.
Even this year, you could argue the offense got worse. Like they lost like Chris Rodriguez in the running game. They didn't really add anybody. And on receiver wise, they lost Debo, who was effective. Granted, he was older, but I mean, obviously now there's the rumors of them getting Brandon Ayuk. But Brandon Ayuk is a nutcase.
Yeah.
I don't know if you necessarily want him. Also, he hasn't played football in 2 years. They even want a guy like that, especially with the reason why he's not even in the facilities because he didn't do his rehab correctly. And that photo he just posted, he looks even fatter than Fat Debo.
Dude.
I don't know if you even want this guy.
Is big boy.
I'm really interested to see what happens with. I don't know what the Cliff Kingsbury firing / moving off, mutual parting. Kind of weird.
It seemed to me like he
I know
just
the
didn't want
record
to
was
be there.
bad. He just didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
I guess I'm interested to see what happens. And I think Jaden Daniels is going to be fine. But my more of a question, I guess, bouncing off this question, was more kind of on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Directly Dan Quinn. My question was more kind of at this point, you would agree if they don't make the playoffs, Dan Quinn's fired. So
they're gonna look. He's gonna be on the hot seat. Will they make
the playoffs, or is Dan Quinn fired?
I think if they miss the playoffs, I don't think they're necessarily going to fire Dan Quinn. I think it very much depends on where and how they finish. Right? If they're in a lot of close games.
So you think if they
I think the Commanders are going to be better.
How many wins do they need to make in order for Dan Quinn not to be fired?
Probably at least 7. I'd say if it's less than 7,
they go 7 and 10. You think he's not fired?
It depends. If they're competitive in these games and they're close and the defense plays a lot better and they're getting to the quarterback bet more often, and I think you see on the offensive side of the ball, if you see improvements, right? If you see that, if they're
and because according to the internet, because I don't know a ton about David Blau, but apparently he likes heavier play action, more under center sets, more runs. If they're able to do those things better than they did last year, then if they do go 7-10 just because of the way the schedule falls, no, I don't think necessarily Dan Quinn's going to get fired. I think if it's 6 wins or less, then I think there's definitely an issue, right? Dependent on whether there's like a metric fuck ton of injuries like they had last year. So I think it's very much dependent on the product on the field. I don't think that there's a set number in my head. I'd say 7 or more. He's probably sticking around. I'd have to imagine. Because a lot of,
man. I think the big thing with Dan Quinn is his defense, and his defense. Even the year when they made it all the way,
they were
to
old as hell though last year.
Their
Kyle
defense was terrible. And they're doubling down on that.
They were
still
so
old as hell.
All right, what's their depth chart looking like?
I don't know.
They got a Dafe Owe.
I think the big
Chase
thing is their defense, and they were like bottom 20 the past 2 years on defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, they have to get better on defense, and I think more specifically, right? Better pass rush. Obviously, a lot of these guys that didn't stay healthy, they need to stay healthy. I mean, look, Leo Chanel they got too. Sonny Styles obviously was their premier pick.
Yeah,
they did a lot of things to get younger. I will say that they did a lot of things to get in an effort to get younger, right?
Those really did not have a lot of draft picks.
No, they didn't. They got a Meek
because they made those trades to try to go all in with
They got a Meek Robinson.
What's his name? I don't think is even on the team anymore.
Was
it Lattimore? It's not. Yeah, Lattimore.
Oh, Marshawn Lattimore.
Bye. Yeah, bum.
I remember that.
Out.
Where's Marshawn Lattimore?
I think he's on the streets.
Wow, he's a free agent. Holy shit!
Yeah, he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad.
Dude, his career tanked. He was low key really good.
He was pretty good for a while, and then like he went to the Commanders and was like really bad. Granted, he did get injured, which I think definitely. Yeah. But like between that and the Laramie Tunsil trade, like they definitely like lost a lot of draft.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Laramie Tunsil didn't even like play that much last year.
I can appreciate what they did this offseason. I'll tell you that. I can appreciate what
I think they have to make the playoffs. I think if they don't make the playoffs,
it's a valid point.
Because you literally have a quarterback who everyone's saying is a great quarterback, which he has shown to be. And obviously, in today's NFL, having a rookie quarterback on the rookie deal is worth
invaluable
gold.
Yeah.
And you can't be doing it with a lame duck head coach who obviously can't do anything because Dan Quinn.
That's not Dan Quinn.
He's not even that. He's not
a lame duck
head coach. I don't know, man. I think if they don't make the playoffs, I think he's done. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
We'll see. Hey, look, it's June. We're talking in June right now. It's a valid point, though, right? It's a valid point. I take your point. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the North. Why don't we?
North.
What we got? Let's go with the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota got a lot bigger up front. They did some okay-ish things in the draft. New GM, we got Nolan Teasley, the assistant GM from Seattle for the past 4 years. Now, I got a question for you, Kyle. The Vikings have over $13 million in cap space currently. Who are you targeting to boost the team, offense or defense, right now?
Look at the depth chart real quick. I don't know how much improvement you really need. The Vikings, I think, overall are a very complete roster. I think the big thing last year that kind of set them back was Mr. 9.
Let's go 9.
Kyler Murray is actually a huge upgrade over JJ McCarthy. I mean, you got Jawan Jennings as your wide receiver 3. TJ Hawkinson's been low-key kind of washed. I mean, the O-line should be healthier this year.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, maybe defense. But even that, the defense, especially Brian Flores back, who I think is like one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. I think the Vikings are a playoff team. I think they're pushing to win the NFC North next year. I think the biggest thing holding them back, because like if you think of like last year, they were a game away from making the playoffs.
I was gonna say I feel like a lot of people.
Granted, this with the schedule, I think that they're a team that a lot of people are sleeping on right now.
A lot of people forgot that despite the abysmal quarterback play between McCarthy and Max Brosmer, they were 9-8.
Like that's pretty remarkable, to be honest, with all the shit that they had going on last year and all the ups and downs, all the injuries, all the quarterback play. They went 9-8. That was just good enough for third in the NFC North, but it was a game away, as you said, from the playoffs. So
NFC North is a bloodbath.
Yeah, it is.
Like, honestly, if the Vikings were in any other division, I think they win easily. Outside of the NFC West.
Yeah.
I think the NFC South they win easily. I think the NFC East you could argue they win. With less difficulty than the NFC.
Yeah, North. maybe.
Their biases account.
To answer my own question, I don't have a specific player in mind, but I do think defensive line, or secondary maybe a linebacker, somebody who could rush the passer, but also maybe somebody who could play in coverage. So probably a linebacker, to be honest.
I've also heard they're in play for the Max Crosby sweepstakes that are probably going to happen when the Raiders are out of the playoff. They're like pretty bad by the trade deadline. That's what I've heard.
That kind of
I've heard the Bears, the Lions, and the Eagles. It's an arms race following the Myles Garrett deal. Try to get people to compete with the Rams.
Oof.
Maybe grapevine news.
Fire away, Kai. Fire away.
So my question is, I guess kind of related more on the offense, which I think I've kind of alluded to it. Kyler Murray, I think we both agree, is going to be the starter, and I think it's a big upgrade at quarterback. Have we seen the last of 9? Will J.J. McCarthy ever play it down as a starter again in the NFL?
I don't think. Oh, in the NFL?
In the NFL. No. Well, I'll do a two-parter. First is like for the Minnesota Vikings, and then second part for the NFL as a starter.
I think his tenure in Minnesota is done. I think it's done. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't see a reason to keep him around. You saw overall 11 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He looked really good at times, and he looked really bad most of the time. And I think you're kind of in between right now, because I think you saw enough to tell you that he is not going to be the future quarterback. I thought I saw enough of it. So if you stick with Kyler Murray as your bridge guy, I think that's fine. You're paying him pennies on the dollar to play quarterback for you. And you know what Kyler Murray is capable of when he's healthy. He's a Pro Bowl caliber player. So I don't really see a need to I think you trade McCarthy now before the season starts. I think you get as much as you can, whether that be a third round pick or a fourth round pick. It's probably what I imagine you'd get. I don't think you'd get a second.
I don't know if you get much more than that.
Maybe a third or a fourth. So I think you try and parlay that into a draft pick that you can use next year to reevaluate. Maybe you do some, Nolan Teasley. Maybe you do some draft maneuvering, and you parlay that into a higher or a mid round or a lower round first round pick. I think you cut your losses. Now, do I think McCarthy's done for the league? No, I don't think. I think he'll find an opportunity somewhere. He'll one of these bad teams will come along. Oh, McCarthy's back. He's going to be in a Browns uniform or something. I think you'll see McCarthy again in the league. But do I think his time in Minnesota is done? I think if the Vikings are smart, yeah, I think it should be.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think you're going to see J.J. McCarthy in the league. I'm just saying, like, as a starter.
Yeah, I think
outside of like starting for multiple games for one team.
Will J.J. McCarthy start multiple games for another team? Probably. I'd imagine someone will give him a chance. Okay. I just don't think that's going to be in Minnesota. I think it shouldn't be in Minnesota.
Fair point. Fair.
All right, where are we going next? We got Green Bay.
We could go Green Bay next.
Your boy, start. Josh Jacobs. All right, go ahead. It's a pertinent to Josh Jacobs?
That does not pertain to Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
So, at the end of last year, if you remember, after the collapse in the Bears game,
a
lot of people were calling for Matt LaFleur to be fired. So my question is how hot is his seat? And like, what does he need to do to not get fired?
Dude, all right. Well, I'll tell you my question is, will Matt LaFleur be the head coach of the Packers in 2027? So.
Oh my God! Wow.
It was bound to happen. Bound to happen eventually. What does he have to do? He needs to win a playoff game is what he needs to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Matt LaFleur has a 1-3 playoff record. With Jordan Love as the starting quarterback.
That one win against the Cowboys.
The one win against the Cowboys.
Awesome.
After that, 3 straight losses. Now, what did the Packers do to improve their chances? Well, I think there's with Micah Parsons out for a good portion this year, There's a tremendous amount of pressure on Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, who's now in his 5th year, Javon Hargrave, who was just at it. Somebody, and now Rashawn Gary. Somebody's gonna need to step up on the defensive line because
help Michael Parsons. Parsons got to come back healthy. First off, big thing.
Yes, number one, he's got to come back healthy, but number two, I mean, that's ginormous shoes to fill. So I would look to actually add somebody on the defensive line. I'd get a vet, maybe if you can. Get someone who can get after the quarterback. Get one player who can get after the quarterback and another player that can drop back in coverage. Because you're going to need to split that over multiple players. There's not a Micah Parsons out there. So that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, your boy, Josh Jacobs. Big question marks. What the hell is going on with him? He's not reporting to mandatory minicamp due to the legal issues and the allegations that have been made against him.
No, I thought he did report the business as usual.
They're taking.
Matt LaFleur said business as usual.
Business. There's no minicamp.
Yeah, he was there, bro. Josh Jacobs was at camp. Business as usual.
He did not practice with the Packers today, while law authorities investigate whether to charge him with domestic violence.
8 days ago, he was at practice.
No,
Matt LaFleur said, I would say business as usual.
It's not business as usual when you're being
he was
charged.
At OTAs.
Well, it's not business as usual when you're being. I know he officially reported in practice, but he came off the field. I don't know. They're looking at it, so big question marks there, nonetheless.
Big question marks.
You've committed a lot of money to
my dynasty team.
Christian Watson.
4-year,
$110.5 million contract extension. So you've committed a lot there. But now you don't have Romeo Doubs.
Dynasty asset.
Yeah. Now you don't have Romeo
Christian
Doubs.
Watson, I think, is a stud.
Who else
I think Christian Watson is going to go off this year.
Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Savion Smith, Bo Melton, Sky Moore. So it's pretty much the same.
Jalen Reed is the number one is a fool. The Packers just showed you with their wallet that Christian Watson's the GOAT.
They paid. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Christian Watson and fantasy.
Jaden Reed has been the better quarterback.
Single-handedly got me to the semis.
Well, he did have a hell of a run at the end.
I got a trade for him, bro. He was going nuts at the end when he got back healthy. He's
gonna
go nuts next year.
What did they do to help him? I mean, with the Josh Jacobs allegations, you don't even know if he's playing this year. Number one. Number two, you lost Romeo Doubs, so you lost like a high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2 there. And then you don't have Micah Parsons for probably most of the season. So you didn't really do much to help out Matt LaFleur. So a lot of it, whatever's happening in 2026, I'd say a lot of it's going to be on Matt LaFleur.
I mean, a big thing is going to be health too. Like the Packers defensively and everything all collapsed last year.
I guess since
I remember us talking that we thought the Packers were like the best team in football.
Well, they were. They were.
And then they got injured.
They were so good.
Yeah, health is a big thing in this.
Health is a huge thing. Now, do I think Matt LaFleur had his hands dirty with some of that? Yeah, I think some of it's on him. Do I think all of it's on him? No. I think there's clearly evidence to suggest that the team was a lot better when they were healthier. I mean, who wasn't or who isn't? I guess since we kind of have the same question, Kyle, give me your thoughts. Like, will he be fired? Will the Packers make the playoffs and win a playoff game?
I think I've Christian Watson covered glasses. I think he's gonna have a big year. Let me just look real quick at my Packers prediction on where they will fall in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because I think the whole NFC North is super tough. I think they might even have to win the NFC North to even have a chance to win a playoff game. Just because, like, being a wild card, unless they're like the 5th seed somehow, because you're probably going to either LA or Seattle. You're either going to like any of your NFC North opponents, so that's like always a gimme game. Mm-hmm. And then you're either going to probably the Philly or Dallas. So like those are all tough games. I mean, granted, NFC South winner, they could win, but I mean, probably the 5 seed is going to be the loser of the division between the Rams and Seattle.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I think they have to win the division to have a chance. And I think that if they don't, there's a good chance that they don't win a playoff game and Matt LaFleur is fired. I think it's basically division or bust for the Packers. I mean, more for Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, fair enough. I personally, I don't know, dude. I don't think they can get there with this squad. I think he's going to get fired. I think he's going to get fired.
I'm going to give it a 75-25. I think there's a 25% chance that he doesn't get fired.
Oh, so you think he will get fired?
I think he probably will.
You think he will get fired? Okay. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions. Now there's a lot of questions around this team. And I really wasn't sure what to ask you about because there's a lot of different happenings in Detroit. So I guess I'll give you more of a general question. What are you more concerned about with this Detroit Lions team heading into 2026? Are you more concerned with the offensive line, or are you more concerned with the transition to now a third offensive coordinator in 3 years?
I think I'm more concerned about the O-line than the offensive coordinator because Detroit has built their identity on their O-line and the past few years, and I think with the injuries they've had, and now they're bringing in, I think they brought in a couple of rookies this year.
Well, they got Blake
draft.
Miller.
Yeah, they got Blake Miller,
and I think they're moving.
They draft the center. And they draft a center.
They signed a center. Cade Mays. They signed him.
Mays, they signed him.
He was the starter in Carolina last year, I believe, for most of the season.
Yeah, he was drafted by Carolina.
For your information, the new offensive coordinator is Drew Petzing. It was, if you remember, it was John Morton last year, and then they took play calling duties away from him, and Dan Campbell took over like week 11 or something.
Yeah, I think the big thing with the Lions, I think, is like, I think losing two coordinators, like your defensive and offensive coordinator in one season, is never a good thing. Obviously, we saw that with the Eagles after they lost Super Bowl 57, and they had to switch coordinators. It's a tough adjustment.
It's tough.
So I guess I think the O-line's probably the biggest thing because it's kind of their identity. So I guess I'll go into my question on this. So actually, like a previous question, which I've asked and I've been bringing up, is like worst to first. Usually there's always one team that does it. According to Vegas, the Lions have the best odds of being a worst to first team in the entire NFL.
Totally makes sense.
Actually, the Lions are the betting favorite to win the NFC North.
That's crazy.
So my question to you is, are the Lions going to win the NFC North and be the best case for a worst to first?
I'd have to take a look at the schedule to be honest. I think it's
they
definitely
actually have the easiest schedule. I think they have a top 3, but they potentially have the number 1 easiest schedule.
I don't see why not. Then
I'll rip through it real quick because it actually is ridiculously easy.
I don't see why not. Then I mean, I if you were to ask me like who has the best odds to go worst to first, and you told me the Lions were
the Saints at home, then they go to Buffalo, then they face the Jets at home, the Panthers, the Cardinals. They have a bye. And they face divisional games: Packers, Vikings, Dolphins, Patriots in Germany, Buccaneers, Bears, then Falcons, Tennessee Titans, Vikings, Giants, Bears, Packers. Literally, their toughest games are divisional games.
And the Patriots.
I think they could win every non-division. Yeah, but that's in Germany. It's neutral field. It's not like you're going to New England.
Still the Patriots.
Patriots.
I'm not so. Honestly, I kind of forgot that the Lions finished last last year.
Their schedule looks. Oh, that's pretty easy. Their toughest game is probably Bills away, and that's a Thursday night, week 2.
I think it's totally valid that they're the betting favorite. Like the team with the highest odds to go worst to first. I think it's kind of shocking that they're the betting favorite to win the NFC North. I'll tell you that much. I'm surprised it's not the next team that we're going to talk about, which is the Bears. Am I going to pick the Lions to finish first? Hey, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm not giving any answers in June, bro. I can't.
But then if you're right, it's like awesome.
Yeah, no, then it's sick. But then it's like, is it?
But if you're wrong, you can just say, "Oh, it was June," So
yeah.
I think it's the perfect time to say things.
Fair enough.
No one's gonna remember you giving a wrong answer in June, but you'll be able to make sure
we'll be remembered forever if we get it right. Yeah. All right, let's go to Chi-Town. I have a very straightforward question for you, Kyle. Who will be the Bears wide receiver 1 in 2026, in your opinion?
So my answer was Rome Odunze for a while. Actually, I'm just looking at the NFC North division odds just because I remember it being like really close.
I'm assuming it's
as close as I thought.
I'm assuming
Lions
it's
are plus
very
175
close between the Lions,
Packers
Bears,
are plus
and Packers.
210.
Yep.
Bears are plus 325.
That's
Vikings are plus
crazy.
525.
320?
Yeah, actually, the
What?
NFC South I think is the tightest division for all
That's
the winners.
crazy. Wait, the Bears have extremely good value because I think they're going to be right back in it.
I don't know, man. I think the Bears.
I'm buying Chicago.
That was my question. So my question was if you think that the Bears like hot streak from last year continues.
Nah, I'm buying
or
it.
do you think it's from for letdown?
I'm buying it, dude. I'm buying it.
Okay.
They were not. The Bears were not
They're about
scheduled.
to get Madden cursed. They're getting Madden cursed.
Who's on the cover?
They're not
Madden?
schedule burners, but the Bears. If you remember the cardiac Bears, they won every game by one score. Usually that always evens out.
You regress to the median. I understand.
Regress to the median.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're going to be sucky next year. I think they're going to be an average. I think they get like the 6 or 7 seed. That's what I think.
I think they're scrap. I don't think they're going to win the division.
No, probably not. Probably not.
But anyway, I'm tough. Saying.
Who's your wide receiver one?
I was big on Roma Dunze, high on Roma Dunze.
Who you high now?
Amy Grapevine last week heard rumors of Roma Dunze at training camp talking about his foot injury he suffered last year. He was doing pretty good, and then he had a foot injury. He was saying he is not. He made a comment implying that it's not the same being able to run around anymore. So this foot injury could be career altering. Wow. That being said, I think Luther Burden, my receiver one. I reluctantly have to say that now.
Ding 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 ding.
Received in the KB Grapevine.
Ding 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 ding. All right, so here's my quick breakdown on this. Right, Luther Burden is my answer. The yak machine that he is.
I was really high on Roma Dunze coming out of the draft.
Now the Bears excelled in play action last year. It was a heavy emphasis in Ben Johnson's offense. I think Dunze, on the whole, performs better in play action. Right, he's the boundary guy that can kind of get Caleb out of trouble when he likes to dance around in the pocket like a little foot fairy. That being said, I think he finishes with more catches than Luther Burden, but I think Luther Burden's going to have more yards and more touchdowns. That's my takeaway there. So to answer your question, I think it will be Luther Burden because Luther Burden can do the crossing route, the dagger routes. He does it all. I think Dunze is kind of he's gonna have to fill that DJ Moore role a little bit more, and not so much with the volume, more so with the can you get me out of trouble guy. So I think they're going to target a lot.
He was my number one receiver in that draft from Dunze.
And especially now that they got Colston Loveland going towards the end of the year too, I think that he's going to pick.
Yeah, I think Colston Loveland's in for a big year. I think.
I love Colston Loveland. I love that.
Love Colston Loveland. He was going nuts at the end of the year.
Yes, sir. All right, we're halfway done here. We're just under an hour too, so that's good.
Okay, that's good pace.
Let's go to the NFC South. Let's go to Nolans. Let's go to the Nolan Saints, Kyle.
Oh, I have a great question.
Go ahead. I've been going.
Fans of this podcast know about the infamous bet that I was very low on the New Orleans Saints, and I thought they would finish last. And Matt did not believe me for 1 second, and I proved him wrong. So my question to you, Matt, is will you make a similar bet with me, but that the Saints will win the division? I bet.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You are betting the field.
I'll take that. What?
Okay.
You get what are the odds?
I'll look at what the odds are on.
Doing straight odds? Well, you're Yeah, I was gonna say.
Check. I was going to do straight odds, but I just want to. No, I'll give. Wait.
You give me straight odds?
Yeah. I give you straight odds.
Virtual shake.
Virtual shake.
Virtual shake. All right. What we doing? We doing a bean?
We'll do a bean.
A bean? 100?
A hundo.
All right.
Hundo bean.
Saints
versus the field.
All right, I'm in. I just noticed I didn't have the live deck open again. You got any comments? No. Where is everybody?
Where are you people?
Hey, all you people. Hey, all you people. Won't you listen to the Pitch
So my question is that's my question. So you do not.
I will absolutely do that, and that's because I think the Buccaneers are going to run away with the division because I think they're that good.
Okay.
Now the Saints kind of, they only went 6-11 last year, but I think they had a lot of peaks and valleys. Obviously, the valleys were earlier in the season.
Early in the season, they were pretty hot at the end of the year.
They got pretty hot. Tyler Shuck was a big emphasis of that offense. Now, what a lot of people kind of forgot about was Alvin Kamara was almost traded in 2025, right? It seems like the Saints are trying to move off him a little bit. Now, he's still on the team, still rostered, still planning on playing, obviously. My question for you,
he's
Kyle,
gonna retire a Saint.
who will end up with more carries in 2026? Alvin Kamara or newly added running back Travis Etienne?
Travis Etienne. That's a dumb question. Etienne is much younger. Etienne is really good. Kamara is on his last legs.
You don't think they're
how
gonna do a
old's
committee?
Kamara now?
He's older.
No, they're gonna do committee, but Kamara's 30. Running backs over 30, it's done. Actually, he'll be 31 at the start of the season. So, give me the young buck and Etienne. They just signed in a free agency.
All right. I was
easy question.
Interested to see if you thought Kamara had a little bit left in the tank. They kind of.
That's. I mean, I think Etienne
because
he
Kamara sat out a lot.
Little assistant. No, but I think with Kamara as like the little change of pace back with Etienne,
yeah.
I think that's a great little run with Mr. Tyler Sharp.
I think it's
now you got Jordan Tyson, the rookie.
Yeah, so
Chris Olave.
Got a lot of questions about Jordan Tyson.
Jawan Johnson.
With the health factor being the main issue.
I think the Saints, they were hot at the end of last year. I think they're going to continue the hotness. I really like the Saints this year.
I personally think it's going to be between the Saints and Bucks, just to give you my honest opinion.
Okay.
That being said, I am.
That's fair. I think any one of these teams can win the division, but I like the Saints.
I've got a lot of questions about Carolina and just the whole moving forward with Dave Canales and all that. But I guess that's a good segue. We can get into Carolina.
I mean, yeah, we can get into that question.
They did add two of the most premier defensive additions in the entire NFC, in my opinion, with Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd. But I'm more concerned about, you had Rico Dowdle come in last year. I guess this is stemming from the Saints too, because we're staying on the running backs. You had Rico Dowdle come in there. He got close to 10 touchdowns. I think he did get 1,000 yards. He kind of revolutionized that offense and made them, really, really just consistent. He gave that kind of consistency. Now with him gone, you've got, do you remember who I'm going to say? Jonathan Brooks. Remember Jonathan Brooks? I don't blame you if you don't.
AJ Dillon, fun fact.
I don't blame you if you don't remember Jonathan Brooks because he's been out for 2 straight years, essentially, with ACL issues. Very highly touted, I believe out of Texas, but I can double check that. My question for you, Kyle, is...
That is correct.
Does he finish with... I guess I'll give you the over-under. 6.5 touchdowns, 900 yards. We're going over or under? Under for both?
I'm not trusting a guy who's never touched the NFL. Under for both. He's never touched an NFL field. And he's coming off of major injuries that sidelined him for 2 years.
I don't know if you've heard...
Can't bet the over on that kind of a guy.
I don't know if you've heard the headlines.
Especially when you got Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't know if you've heard the headlines coming out of Carolina minicamp, though, but apparently he is lighting it up out there. He looks fantastic.
We'll see.
He said he's ready to be the guy in Carolina. So I've apparently it's going very well.
You're on the hype train, I guess.
I'm a little bit. I'm very intrigued.
It sounds like you're starting the train. You're trying to get me to come aboard.
Seems like a well-spoken guy. Seems like he's an easy guy to root for. So I'm on the Jonathan Brooks train. That's gonna be a late round flyer.
I can't pick a guy who's never. I mean, he's 9 rushes for 22 yards in his entire career. So I can't pick a guy like that. My question to you. If you remember the first year of our podcast,
I remember
we were big Bryce Young guys. we were big Bryce Young guys.
No, you were a big Bryce Young guy. No, you're not lumping me in there.
No, you were a hater because of the bet.
Because he was bad and he got benched.
That's the bet. He was so good when he got back from being benched. Last year, obviously, they get the playoffs.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of questions about Bryce Young. He's too short. We're coming up on his 5th-year option. I mean, he was drafted 2023, so he's on year 3. He's kind of due for his extension. 5th-year option probably has to be decided by the end of the year. So my question to you is, does Bryce Young get a second contract with the Carolina Panthers?
Yes, and the reason I'm saying yes kind of confidently is unless something unless he regresses to and I'm just looking at his stats here. Unless he goes back to 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, Bryce Young in his rookie year, he's gotten better every single year. Now look, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year, not exactly lighting it up. 63.6% completion percentage, career high. 3,000 passing yards, also a career high. The Panthers have long needed a quarterback since the days of Cam Newton.
Yeah, since Cam Newton.
Now, on the other side of that, they've long needed a wide receiver 1, which I firmly believe Teteroa McMillan is.
Yes, Tetterman, man. Rookie of the year.
Now I don't know if they did enough to kind of
Called by the Picks podcast in the
Bryce
summer
Young.
before the season.
Now I don't know if they did enough to, you know, I don't know if they did enough per se.
Shout out, rest in peace.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. You're listening.
I'm listening, of course. I don't know if they did enough to like get more weapons for him because like their wide receiver too is Jalen Coker. Fine receiver.
They didn't really get any lepers. I mean,
they really did. Well,
they didn't really
so they drafted Chris
Josh
Brazel.
Mechie.
Yeah, they drafted Chris Brazel. I'm just looking up and down their lineup. I mean, they didn't really do much on the offensive side of the ball, unfortunately.
No, it's pretty similar to last year.
Yeah, but now they've got like in the offensive line. I'm not too sold on. I don't think they've done enough to surround Bryce Young to give him a fair evaluation of a make it or break it year, right? I think if you see major regression, I think there's absolutely a chance they move on. But if he puts up numbers, similar or even slightly less similar, slightly worse than last year, I think they're fine. They have a first place schedule this year, and they really didn't upgrade anywhere on the offense when you really think about it. If any, you could argue they downgraded on offense.
Yeah, it was Enrico Daddle.
So
I mean, they were a big run game team, and
yeah, they were. So
I guess they're really relying on.
And you're going to need a guy. You're going to need a guy who's got 2 straight ACL
kind of
injuries.
Okay last year. I mean, he was hurt last year.
Yeah,
that's kind of what allowed Enrico Daddle to go off.
I think he does get a second contract ultimately. Now, what that contract's going to look like, probably like 3 years, $100 million, something like that, maybe 110. Depends what the cap's looking like next year, obviously, but somewhere in that range. Somewhere in that range, I'd say. Now let's talk about my first place team in the NFC South, and I will say that in June because I firmly believe this is. Wow. I firmly believe that this is going to be one of the best teams in the NFC, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Even lost with the offseason drama.
Yes. Now I think that is a valid point, right? With the offseason drama, whether Baker Mayfield's going to hold out or the contract extension. I assume that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
So they lost Jamal Dean. That's it. We got Alex Anzalone.
And Mike Evans.
And Mike Evans. All right, and Mike Evans. Now, I was talking about
That's defense, a pretty big thing.
Talking about defense.
Mike Evans, who everyone's like, Buck for life, he leaves. I don't know. I don't think that's a good
I understand. Now.
And they also lost Levante David to retirement.
Levante David. No, Levante. Oh, no. I was thinking of a.
Massive aura for Ruben Bain.
Dude. I think they have the best.
Dean low-key pretty good corner.
Yeah, Dean's gonna hurt. But I think Alex Anzalone they got Christian Roseboom from the Rams, and then you get Yaya Diaby coming back, and then you have Ruben Bain. Are you kidding? That linebacking room is insane. First of all, it's the best linebacker room in football, bar none. Show me a better one. You won't be able to. The Buccaneers. Now here's the valid question, right? For the wide receiver room, you kind of mentioned this. Who's taking the mantle from Mike Evans? So Kyle, my question for you. Who's scoring all these touchdowns with no Mike Evans? Well, yeah, is it Mbuka? Is it
Mbuka? I think
it's Jalen McMillan.
Last year, granted, he kind of hit a rookie slump, but I think now with another year under his belt, a little more experience. I think it's Mbuka. I think Mbuka showed a lot of flashes last year for a reason.
He looked so good last year. He really did.
I think it's Mbuka. I think just Godwin. I think he's good, but I think he's more of a 2 at this point in his career with how old he's been and how many injuries he's kind of gone through. I think McMillan's also a really good player, but I just think Mbuka kind of embodies that wide receiver 1 mentality, especially in the red zone. And I think Baker are going to be chucking it up to him if Baker plays.
That's fair. No, I think that's fair. And I think it kind of might be a committee, right? With touchdown situation. I mean, you got a lot of guys, right? And you've got 3 running backs too. You've got they brought in Kenneth Gainwell. Did you know about that?
Yeah, they did. I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be their RB1. I think Bucky Irving's done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's kind of crazy. I don't know about all that.
I think
we are high on Gainwell
for the
though.
Buccaneers at the end of the year. I think Kenny Gainwell is one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. I think it was a big loss on the Steelers letting him go in free agency.
Oh,
he was basically the number 1 offensive player for the Steelers.
He was so good last year.
Bucky Irving has this weird injury thing going on, and you also got to think his draft capital. He was only a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And the Kenny Gainwell's a free agent. Last year, he didn't even get the 600 yards.
And you've got rushing. Sean Tucker too.
who was a
Sean
good
Tucker
goal
as
line
well.
guy, good third down back
Pretty
goal line
big
guy.
goal line guy. I think Kenny Gainwell's gonna go off. I love Kenny Gainwell.
I just think this team's gonna go off, but you tell me. Ask
so my question, I guess we've already answered with your confidence in the Bucks is like
I'm so confident.
My thing is like I guess how confident you are in the Bucks because I'm saying you have the situation with Baker, you have the situation with Bucky. This was legitimately my question.
I'm so confident in this Bucks team, dude.
Because you have the like I was saying with all the offseason stuff and like Bowles obviously was like the number one coach who should have been fired. Everyone agreed at the end of the season. So I don't like the vibes of this Bucks team. I mean, Mike Evans, like built to be a career Buck. Why does he leave? I don't think the vibes are good.
I'm so because he wanted a bag, dude, and he wasn't gonna get it because they signed Alex Anzalone and Christian Roseboom. You know,
man.
I
Mike Evans doesn't take me as a guy. He's like, oh, I'm gonna.
All right, let me.
He wanted to win, and I think he's sick of LaFleur. Let me kind of talk through. They collapsed at the end of last year.
I know.
I don't like Bowles. I think Bowles is the head coach.
Now
I can't pick this team.
That's the one thing is how long of a leash should they give Todd Bowles? Because there's been a lot of questions about his leadership, more so on the play calling situation and time management, clock management situations.
That's what I'm saying. If you're thinking that the Bucks are going to win the division,
I think they
don't
good.
Fire Bowles. And I think Bowles is fired.
I don't think they do. I think the Bucks are setting themselves up for probably being a little bit worse in the future because I don't think Bowles should be the coach of the future per se. But I think that they're going to overplay this year. I think look, they have a third place schedule. They got the best linebacker room, second place schedule, whatever it is. They've got a lot of guys. They got Ted Hurst. They drafted Ted Hurst, who I also like. I think Ruben Bain will be the best player in this draft.
Dude, Ruben Bain's aura when he got drafted, insane.
So good,
grabs
dude.
The hat. Oh my god.
Grabs that. Didn't even do anything in the camera. I love it. I love this Bucks team. And the O-line is finally healthy again. Oh my god. And this is a great O-line. Luke Goedeke, Tristan Wirfs, Ben Bredesen.
Yeah, the O-line is
fantastic. My Tristan Wirfs might be the best offensive lineman in football.
That's how good though is the biggest thing stopping this team. And I just think with him as the head coach, I can't see them winning.
Fair enough. That's fair. I love them. Do you love the Atlanta Falcons?
Is that your question?
No, that's not my question, but I'm asking you.
I'm indifferent.
No, my real question for you regarding the Atlanta Falcons is how many games does Michael Penix start in 2026? Because they brought our boy in
0. Baby.
Okay.
That's my question. My question was who starts more games, Penix or Tua?
Tua. It's gonna be Tua.
I think Tua does.
I think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this last time, but I think Penix is out of the league in 5 years.
Damn.
I just don't think he's good. He can't stay healthy, and I just don't think there's a place for him in this league. To be honest, I'm not rooting against him. Don't get me wrong, but that's my.
He's already pretty old.
Well, look, the Falcons have
he's older than Tua, which is wild. I'm double checking that.
No, you're 26. Right. He was drafted like at 24, 25 years old. Like he was old as shit when he got drafted.
No, Tua's older by 2 years. I apologize.
Okay. But Penix is old for how many years he's been in the NFL.
He is old for how many years he's been in the league.
Yeah.
He's 26 and he's in his third year now? That's kind of wild.
This is his third year, yeah. So the Falcons, right? They draft Zachariah Branch. They add Jahan Dotson and Olamide Zaccheaus. All the former Eagles, Kyle. James Pierce is a big question mark coming into this year. Will he even play this year, pending the domestic assault allegations? I don't even know if he's been formally charged with that. I think he was. But the whole
I think he got out of it. He got out of it with community service. He has to do community service.
He beat up cops, didn't he?
Yeah. I just saw his sentencing not that while ago. It was pretty mild. Not good.
What the fuck?
He got charged with 3 felonies.
Yeah, how do you get out of that? Because he's rich and he can play football?
He probably fired or whatever.
What the fuck? I heard he was in some...
Oh, he got released on a bond.
That's stupid.
What was it? Yeah, he had to go to AA
Probably
or
should be in
something.
jail, to be honest. Any normal person would probably be in jail for multiple years, but football
Yeah, but
player.
he's really good at football.
Yeah, I forgot
He
about
avoided
that.
jail time by entering a 1-year pre-trial intervention program. If he successfully completes 365-day diversion,
Oh, so
his
it's a
3
PPD.
felony charges will be completely dismissed.
So he got a PPD. You
Yeah,
went
he
from
got a
having
PPD.
you went from having a felony to only having to do a PPD. What
Yeah,
the
so he has to
fuck?
stay away from his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, no shit.
Drug testing, therapy, law enforcement apology letter,
Oh, get the
and
fuck out
not
of
get
here.
any further legal trouble. But he could also get punishment from the NFL.
What the? Anyway.
He's expected to face a suspension of 6 games, but it's under evaluation currently. That's the rumor.
Okay, that's pretty fair. That's about fair, but you should still be in jail. Anyway.
Yeah.
Drake London, 4 years, $141 million extension. The thing for the
Good for him, bro.
and good for him. He definitely earned it. I think he had a fantastic season last year. Now, the thing is, Kyle, a lot of question marks around Kevin Stefanski coming in this year. The Falcons have to.
I think Kevin Stefanski is a great coach. I think he got screwed with the Deshaun Watson stuff.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
why I'm kind of like, I think the Falcons
could be one of those sneaky teams. They could
because
be.
I think they could be a team that like no one's really like because they're kind of like Minnesota in a sense. At least for me, I think both of us, I think based on the conversation, are pretty aware Minnesota is a force to be reckoned with. But I think a lot of people in general don't. I think Atlanta. I think we're one of the people that maybe we don't realize how good they could potentially be. I would say we both kind of have them in the middle, which I think is mainly reliant on quarterback play. But I mean, the offensive skill positions. I mean, you got Drake London who just got paid. You got Bijan Robinson, who's probably the best running back in the league. You got Brian Robinson as a backup to take Tyler Allgeier's place.
Yeah.
Rip Tyler Algier, man. Can you imagine that? 1,000 yards as a rookie, and then you get a generational running back drafted to be your replacement. And you're like, man. Oh, but I'm a free agent now.
Yeah.
Ready to go out into the world. And then another generational running back drafted as your replacement.
Dude.
Oh,
hey, man, look, he's going to do good things in Arizona. I firmly believe it. And I'll get to see him in person. I'll be the personal evaluator come December.
There you go. I think Kyle Pitts is gonna have a big year under Kevin Stefanski.
You love your Kyle Pitts.
I
think a lot of people, Kyle, a lot of people forget how bad of a coach Raheem Morris was too last year. He was not a good coach.
He lost them games. He was bad.
He actively lost them games. He actively waited too long to bench Michael Penix. And as soon as he put Kirk Cousins in, it was in and out of the lineup.
Well, he didn't even bench Michael Penix. He was forced because Michael Penix tore his ACL.
That's right. Yeah, well, no, he tried to. Remember Kirk came in for one of those games earlier in the season, didn't start, but then they put Penis back out there.
Yeah, put the penis back out there.
The Falcons have to get better on third down. They ranked 29th in third down conversion rate in 2025. That's the biggest emphasis that Stefanski, I think, should focus on in 2026. I think shorten up the game for Tua, make it easier, get the ball out quick. Do all those things. I think they'll be in position to be in position. I think they're going to be one of those. I think they could be one of those sneaky teams. I think you're right.
I think there could be a sneaky team no one expects, but we'll see.
All right, last division. Let's wrap it up here. Let's start with the NFC. Let's start in the NFC West with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Jacoby Brissett is kind of the big
holdout. Yeah, he's back at camp though, just so he's there not to be fined.
Did not report to OTAs, but did report to mandatory mini camp a few days ago.
Did not practice.
Did not practice because he's still holding out. Now, 1-11 as a starter last year. Arizona was losing a lot last year. We know this. 23 touchdowns to 8 interceptions and 3,300 yards.
That's a record for highest completion percentage in a game. Or most completions.
In a game. That's sick, dude. 23-8, and you went 1-11. How do you not have more leverage? I don't know why the Cardinals are being cheap with him. But my question for you, Kyle, is: will the Cardinals end up paying Jacoby Brissett? And if so, what type of deal does he get? If you don't pay him, who will the starting quarterback be?
I don't know. This is a tough one because I think they should, just out of respect. I think it's kind of
they absolutely should, right?
Everyone's making a big drama about this, being like, "Oh my God, Jacoby Brissett! What is he holding out for?" I mean, to be a starting quarterback in this league, what you're putting on the line with getting hit and attacked, he's making barely any money. I'm looking it up.
So I think it's 4 8.
He's making $5 million.
Yeah, I think it's sub 5. As salary, I think the max evaluation. I was just looking at this, but you can look it up. I think it was sub 5 as the base salary, and then the max valuation of the contract was like 7.5 million, which is like chump change for a guy who had 23 and 8 last year, touchdowns and interceptions.
Looking at like contract average, like if you go to for like per year, like Gardner Minshew, the backup,
he's making more.
Making more.
Yeah.
And
so
he's the backup.
It would be between if he's not the starter, it would be between Carson Beck, who was there last year, and then Gardner Minshew is the current backup. So I personally think he should be making anywhere between 15 and 25 million for just the one season. If you want to make it a bridge situation, he's absolutely earned it. I don't know.
No, I think he's better than the other options.
Yes, he's definitely better than the other options.
Garrett Nussmeier or
Garrett Nussmeier is also the third guy or the fourth guy, I guess.
I think they either pay him or they're cheap as hell and they don't, and then Garrett Nussmeier starts. And is bad.
Gosh darn! I mean, that would be just terrible, though.
So I guess my question, leaning into being bad, the Cardinals, I guess, are universally agreed upon as like one of the worst teams in the NFL. But are they going to be the worst team? Will they have the number 1 overall pick?
There's probably going to be another team out there that's worse. I mean, you've got Josh Sweat, right? I'm just looking at the depth chart now.
You got to remember they played the NFC West. So that's 6 games right there that they could just instantly lose.
Yeah, that's probably at least 2 and 4, 1 and 5, if not.
They're also in the NFC. NFC, I think, is much better than the AFC. I don't know if you.
I'd say it's a lot tighter. Yeah, I'd say that.
I mean, if you look at the Cardinals' schedule, I'm going to go through it and I'm going to tell you, I guess, what games I think are arguably winnable.
Yeah.
Just pull it up.
I mean, the Cardinals. I'll tell you what they do have going for them is a really good running back room. Jeremiah Love, Tyler Algier, James Conner, Trey Benson. I mean, you could argue. I mean, definitely Algier and Love. Conner at this point is probably the only.
I guess they have at Giants week 4.
Okay.
Hosting the Commanders, hosting the Jets, hosting the Raiders, and going to New Orleans.
I mean,
I'd say would probably be the
sounds like
most
the toughest
likely potential winners, but like even then, that's pretty tough.
Sounds like the
toughest.
I think
they statistically have one of the harder
schedules. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, even with like you finally got Trey McBride.
Cardinals have the 3rd hardest schedule. The Bears have the hardest.
All right, so here's my take, Kyle. I'll give you an answer. If they don't sign Jacoby Brissett, then I think there's a real chance that they do finish with the worst record.
That's great. That's great. Combining our questions.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Because if they don't get a competent quarterback play for the entire season, I mean, you finally unlocked like Trey McBride. I think there was a lot of questions coming into 2025 about whether he could continue.
Trey McBride, I think, is the best tight end in football.
Oh my God, yeah, he's probably one of, if not the best tight ends in football. I think there's only a few other names you could probably put ahead of him. You don't want to mess with that. Like you don't that connection.
They definitely have some pieces on offense.
They do. That's the thing.
Josh Sweat's now holding out too. He wants to trade.
Yeah, I saw Josh Sweat might want to get traded because he knows that they're being cheap, dude.
Coach. I think that's a good thing though. I think if they don't sign, I think Jacoby Brissett might be able to sneak him a few wins. I think if they don't sign Jacoby
absolutely,
Brissett, there's a chance that it's over.
So I'm telling you right now, if they don't sign Jacoby Brissett, they're tanking. Simple as that. Yeah. They're tanking. I don't even think you're going to see particularly much of Jeremiah Love this year if they start the tank, which it seems like they're starting to set themselves up to do exactly that. So if they don't sign Brissett, I think there's a pretty good chance that they finish with the worst record.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on because we got three more
teams.
Three competent teams. Let me put it like that. I think the one team that does have some questions coming into 2026 is the San Francisco 49ers. And I'll kind of give you a couple questions, and I'll ask you a pretty general question because I really couldn't narrow it down to what I thought was the most important. Who's starting at left guard? That's a big question. Robert Jones,
Williams, and he just
second team now.
Or something.
Connor Colby, I think the other guy's name, and then they got a rookie Carver Willis.
Oh, he's right tackle. That was bad.
Yeah, left tackle. No, you're good. How much more can Christian McCaffrey handle? Right. Career high in attempts last year. A lot of wear and tear. Valid questions. How much more can Trent Williams handle? He's starting to get up there, right? That weekly ability to be out there on a weekly basis is being very much so called into question. The pass rush. Pass rush needs to get better. The draft, I don't really think they did that well, right? Like, you didn't draft. They don't have a safety anymore, right? Jair Brown is a starter, but he's not a game changer. I think they need a little bit more help there. Getting back to the pass rush, right? You got Michael Williams coming off a torn ACL last year. His play was pretty subpar in 2025. You spent the first round pick on him. Very much a question mark going forward. Nick Bosa's coming back from ACL issues. Now, with all that being said, there are some positives, right? The offensive side of the ball, I mean, you're freaking loaded on offense, really. I save the whole
you got Mike
Brandon
Evans.
Ayuk situation, right? Yeah, now you've added Mike Evans.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, who leads the San Francisco 49ers in receiving yards in 2026? I'm interested to know.
I don't know, man. I would say Mike Evans, but he's kind of injury prone late in his career. I'll go with Mike Evans. I think he's due for a little bounce back year.
So you think he steps up and becomes the new number? Actually,
yeah,
really.
I mean, what else he got? I mean, Brandon Ayuk's out. He's a crazy.
Well, actually, Kyle, the one guy I was thinking of was Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
To be perfectly honest,
I mean, he's also been low-key kind of injury prone. And then you got Christian Kirk too, but like he's no more than like a good 3.
I think you're selling. I think you're selling him Christian Kirk.
We are Christian.
We are Christian Kirk.
We the 49ers.
Can I get the remix in there? Nah, you know what my favorite 49ers song is? Fuck the 49ers.
Fuck 49ers.
They're a sorry ass team.
All right. So I guess I don't know. I guess with all these questions, I'll leave with my question to you. As you may or may not know, Kyle Shanahan is currently tied as the second longest tenured head coach, behind Andy Reid, the NFL. I think he's tied with Sean McVay.
I didn't know that,
they
but
both were hired in 2017. So my question to you, I guess also John Lynch was hired around the same time. Who historically has not been that great at drafting.
No.
So my question to you is: do you think this season is the end of the Kyle Shanahan and/or John Lynch era, either by a firing or a mutual parting of ways?
Well, I think John Lynch. I think there's been an argument personally. I think he's had a lot of subpar drafts, and I don't think this year was any bad.
I think his job was saved by Brock Purdy.
Yeah, dude, Trey Lance absolutely.
The Trey Lance, any other GM fired.
People forget how bad that was. They traded up to get him
No one remembers.
They traded
now they're paying the price because they have like no depth anymore.
No, they don't have a lot of depth. You're right about that. And I'm just looking up and down.
Guys.
Well, look, they went out and they got Osa Odighizuwa from the Cowboys. Great. Fred Warner's coming back. Nick Bosa's coming back. Michael Williams is coming back. Like they got Malik Mustafa. Like the secondary, I think is very like up and down. Malik Mustafa, Renardo Green. So like they do have they have Diamador Lenore is back at cornerback. Alfred Collins up front. So like they have good players, but like how many of these guys did they draft recently? Not that many. Not that many from what I can see. Yeah, like Ricky Pearsall. Brock Purdy, you're absolutely right. I mean, Brock Purdy saved John Lynch's job. Now, to your other point, right? I think Shanahan's safe as long as he wants to be there. I really do. And I think
does he want to be there anymore?
That's a different question, right? Does he want to be there?
I'm saying, is it over? Is it over?
I think it's very much a question of how much faith do you have in Brock Purdy. Now, you could point to the postseason success. You could point to a number of things, right, where they go on these runs and, oh my God, he's Mr. Irrelevant and look how good he is and blah, blah, blah. Great leader, right? So I think it's you have a young quarterback there. Now, is he the sexiest young quarterback in football? Probably not, right? Are you salivating at the mouth to work with Brock Purdy, or are you salivating at the mouth to work with somebody else? If you have the chance, right, probably somebody else. I think as long as Shanahan says, I've got enough to work with and I have enough to surround Purdy where I can make him what I want him to be and run my offense the way I want to, I don't see a reason that he's going to leave. I just don't see it. So I think it's very much a question of whether these guys can play for John Lynch, that the guys that John Lynch brought in will work out. Because spoiler alert, I don't think the draft that they had this past April was good. I don't.
No, I agree.
All right, 2 more teams. We've got the defending.
The best teams in the NFL.
You might argue it, dude. You could absolutely argue that these are the two best teams in the NFL heading into 2026. We'll start with the defending Super Bowl champion, the Seattle Seahawks. I've got a pretty straightforward question for you. Will Sam Darnold improve or take a step back from his 2025 campaign? And for reference, I have the numbers here. 14-3 as a starter, 4,048 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, so kind of up there in 14.
Yeah, it's pretty up there.
QBR 55-6, so like a little bit above average. Step up or step back?
I think it's a step back. I think losing Clint Kubiak, I think, is not talked about enough for the Seattle team. I think going into the season with a new offensive coordinator is going to be a big change for the Seattle team, even though I guess the offense in general is going to be probably pretty similar. I think Sam, I don't see him going up, but I think he's going to be more of the same or arguably a slight downgrade on this.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hmm? So my question is for you, which I guess is more so, I guess, Kent, do you think is Seattle going to repeat? Do you think they're built to repeat, or do you think they're going to have a hangover?
Man, neither really. I mean, I don't think they're going to have a hangover. I think they're almost just as good as they were last year, right? I mean, you lost Reek Wallen, you lost Kenneth Walker, you lost Adafe Owe, or not Adafe Owe. Who am I thinking of? Similar name. He's on the Bengals now. I forget. And they lost somebody else in the on the line. But like the core guys, like Devin Witherspoon, Nicky Manwari, like all the core guys are still there. Like that's a young, talented defensive core. Very much so like Eagles-esque almost. Now, I think they're better positioned than the Eagles because I think you have a little bit more stability at the coaching positions. So I give the edge to Seattle. I think they have a better chance coming into this year than the Eagles did coming into last year to repeat. But I think I don't think it's gonna be like a lame like a bridge year, right? Like I think Darnold showed you enough that he's competent enough to not lose you the game per se. Now some of those.
I guess just because my next question for the team is going to be kind of similar to what I just asked. Spoiler alert. But so what's Seattle's ceiling in your opinion?
I mean, I think they can repeat. I think they can repeat.
Where do you think? Do you think they make it? Do you think where do you think they get to? Like what's their floor? What's Seattle's floor?
Oh, what's their floor? Okay. Well, I think their ceiling is probably another Super Bowl. I think they can get right back there. I don't see why not. Yeah. What's their floor? I mean, I don't see them not being a playoff team. So I'd say seventh wild card. I'd say seventh seed. Wow, yeah, I'd say seventh seed wild card. Because I mean, they are
probably like the fifth or the sixth. I think sixth seed. And
I was gonna say you could argue higher than that.
Divisional round.
Yeah,
this is the divisional round. I don't see them losing a play.
Here's the thing. I would be surprised if they lost a playoff game. I'd be like, all right, well they got back but lost.
I think it's divisional round is their ceiling.
I think to your point, the question is very much so. What can they do without Clint Kubiak? How much of this was on Mike McDonald? How much of it was versus Clint Kubiak? Because if the Raiders start taking off, like I think they might, you're going to start turning a lot of heads at Clint Kubiak. And you're going to start asking a lot more questions about Mike McDonald, too. So
I think Mike McDonald is proven. I think the defense is going to be great. I mean, they got Brian Fleury. I think it's just their new offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
he was the tight end running coach with the Niners for a while, so it's going to be probably a similar scheme. A Shanahan guy. I think Mike LaFleur is a defensive guy because if you remember, Mike LaFleur was Mike McDonald, not Mike LaFleur. He's the Cardinals head coach. Oh my lord! But Mike McDonald, he was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens the year when the Ravens were like the number one team, and they ended up losing to the Chiefs, obviously, because that was when the Chiefs were dominant. But I'm thinking that Mike McDonald, I think, is one of the greatest defensive minds, like young minds in our generation to watch this.
Man's good.
I don't think Mike McDonald. I think the defense is gonna be great. I think the offense is the biggest question mark. I think it's a slight downgrade just because of coaching.
Yeah, you could argue it.
I think their floor is the divisional round. I'd be shocked.
Yeah,
if they make at least the divisional round.
Now, one more question for you on the Seahawks before we move on to our final team.
Who's the starter? Who do you got? Is it going to be Zach Charbonnet or we got
Jadarian Price
Jadarian
will be the rushing back starter, but I think Zach Charbonnet will come in and be annoying to fantasy owners, just like he did to Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, that's a fair evaluation. And they got Emmanuel Wilson too. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, they do. They do have him.
All right.
I also heard George Halana is making noise at camp.
George Halani. I remember him. He stepped up in the playoffs after Charbonnet went down. I remember that. All right. Last team, arguably the most exciting team coming into 2026, the Los Angeles Rams.
After June 1st.
I'll tell you, one of the few things I dislike about the Rams is why'd you change the logo? Why'd you make it all monocolored?
Yeah, I don't like the logo. Logo's kind of gross.
It did not need to be all monocolored. We loved the yellow. The gold yellow was phenomenal. Why'd you get rid of it? I don't know. Anyway, Matthew Stafford, right, running it back one more time. The question becomes very much so, can he stave off the back injuries? Because I think a lot of people out there are saying chronic back injuries are detrimental to a player's career, and it's very hard to overcome that as an older player. Go ahead, shoot away.
As many of you know, which I'm sure I brought up or whatever, I, with a lot of my takes, I'm off by a year. You know, this happens a lot. For example, I think 2 years ago I was really high on the Jags. They were really high the following year. Like the Eagles, after they lost the Super Bowl, I was convinced Eagles beat Chiefs. The revenge happens. Again, off by a year. I don't remember any others off the top of my head. I'm blanking, which is bad.
You probably have more. You probably have more.
But I definitely have a lot where I'm off by 1 year. If you recall on the podcast at the beginning of the season last year, I was very low on the Rams, citing Matthew Stafford back injuries. Could be off by a year. I think it's legitimately the reason why they drafted Ty Simpson. I think Stafford, obviously he's coming off an MVP year, but I think those back injury rumors and everything, I don't think it's a joke. And I mean, how long you see it with the older quarterbacks all the time. You saw it with Brady, his final year with the Bucs. You saw it with Manning, his last year with the Broncos. You see it with Rodgers now. You see it with all these older guys. Russell Wilson, they fall off a cliff when they hit the age. It just happens like that. They're done. So, I mean, Stafford's, he's 37 or 38.
He's old, dude.
Double checking right now. He's 38 right now.
38.
He'll be 39, I guess, at the Super Bowl if he makes the Super Bowl next year. But that's coming to it. I think Brady low-key kind of warped our perception on quarterbacks, thinking anybody guys now could play to their 40s. That's not the case. I mean, look at Russell Wilson. He's retired now, and he fell off a cliff. He's only 34, 35, you know, and he's done. That's typically what it is. Not a lot of quarterbacks are able to go late into their 30s or even the 40s.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
I think it's a real concern, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it because of how well Stafford played last year.
Now, hypothetically, right, you have Stafford go down with some sort of injury. I think this Rams team is fucked. Personally, that's my take. Okay. All right, and I think it could the whole because let me tell you right now, I think the Rams had the worst draft of any team in the NFL, save maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Patriots or the 49ers or something like that. This pick of Ty Simpson, you took arguably the third or fourth best quarterback in a quarterback draft class that was already so underwhelming besides Fernando Mendoza. I just don't understand that you could have traded this pick and took somebody next year. I would have been completely fine with you guys not even having a first round pick if that was your contingency plan, or signing somebody off the street. That's how bad I think Ty Simpson is. Not rooting for it, just putting my opinion out there. Now, and then again, right, your second round pick was Max Clare, and it's why do you need a fifth tight end, dude? McVay is tight ends. I don't know. Crazy. Now,
I don't know. He was going nuts with tight ends last year. He was actually really good.
They had four guys. Now, look, Max Clare is very talented. Don't get me wrong. Did you need a fifth tight end, though? Probably not. You could have used that for somebody else.
And the thing is, if you wanted to keep that first round pick this year, why not go out and get a Mekhi Lemon? Why not go out and get a Reuben Bain? I mean, obviously they ended up getting Myles Garrett, which is fucking unbelievable that they have Myles Garrett now. Cost you a lot of picks. I don't think they have their first round pick next year. So, I
have another one. The Panthers last year. That was one. I was a year off.
Panthers. There you go. So it's like, I think they've missed a lot. I think now look, they went out and they got some phenomenal players. Obviously, Myles Garrett's going to be headline there. They got Trent McDuffie. They had to give up Kobe Durant. Obviously, why can't I think of his name? Who they gave to the Browns? Why? Jared Verse.
Jared Verse.
Yeah, Jared Verse. So you got rid of Jared Verse, so you gave up some of your young talent there, but perfectly understandable. You got Myles Garrett. But the thing is, it's like Myles Garrett is kind of turning the corner now. I know he just set the sacks record, so it's kind of hard to say he's turning the corner, but he is getting older, right?
He's at the peak.
He's at the peak.
On the downswing.
You've reached the summit, so now's a good, resting stop for Myles Garrett.
That's why I like the Brown. That's why I like the Brown side of the trade.
You've put your chips all with a very
went all in. So I guess going off of that statement, my question is it over? Have the Rams earned Lombardi? Are the Rams the next super team?
No.
But also with these rumors of Aaron Donald coming back.
So that was going to be one of my questions. I was going to ask you how quickly will Myles Garrett transform this defense with one of those questions aiming at Aaron Donald.
It's not even just Myles Garrett. They traded for the Chiefs.
Trent McDuffie.
Trade for Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
The big issue with them, obviously, the big issue with the Rams last year was their defense, and now they got the best defensive player in the league.
They plugged all the holes.
Potentially get Aaron Donald coming back because they did that.
They've plugged all the holes.
And they got Trent McDuffie as a corner.
I think this now, personally, right now, I say all these things about Ty Simpson and Matthew Stafford with the chronic back injuries. My personal opinion is that the Rams are going to win this division and probably go to the Super Bowl. I think it's Super Bowl or bust. I think they understand the urgency.
Well, yeah,
they know
Super Bowl or bust.
They know that this is the last year of Matthew Stafford probably in the NFL. They know what they're going to be up against. I think you go as far as, if you want to try and swing it like some offensive line depth at the trade deadline, I think that'd be probably a good place to start if you're really, really going all in. But oh my God, this team is so freaking stacked. It's just unbelievably stacked.
It really is.
Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. I think after that, right, it kind of there's a pretty substantial drop off, but you've got, 7 different tight ends you throw to, right? Max Clare is going to be one of those this year, but Terrace Ferguson, Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, and now Max Clare. So you've got 4 ample tight ends. You've got 2 of the best wide receivers in football. You've got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum.
Is old, 33.
You've got Blake Corum and
Puka,
Kyron Williams. Yeah, he's a nut job, but he's fucking great at football.
Came out of nowhere that Puka just went from everyone's like, oh, Puka, everybody likes Puka, to Puka becoming one of the biggest diva wide receivers. No one
he's not even really a diva. Wild. It's more so he just says whatever he wants with no remorse.
Yeah, that's the definition of a diva.
No, diva would be like talking all about yourself. Like he doesn't really do that.
True. He's not AJ Brown. True.
Look at the tape. He's not.
He's a nutcase.
He's a nutcase.
Antonio Brown.
There's a big difference between a diva and a nutcase. Puka's definitely a nutcase. AJ Brown, Antonio Brown,
is a diva.
Antonio Brown's.
AJ Brown's both. So. Antonio Brown's both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both would be
Antonio Brown's like if Puka.
Like George Pickens, diva. AJ Brown, diva. Antonio Brown, diva and nutcase. Puka Nacua, nutcase. Yeah. There you go. So that's the kind of.
Amon Ross St. Brown, psychopath.
Not really either.
Psychopath.
How?
Have you not listened to him on the wide receiver documentary?
On the podcast?
He literally whisper. He literally has a list of all the receivers taken ahead of him.
A lot of people have that
before he goes on the field.
Yeah, a lot of people have that.
Yeah, no, but he's.
Tom Brady had that. Tom Brady's
also a psychopath.
He's also the best quarterback of all time. So I think you got to be crazy.
Exactly. I'm not saying he's not the best quarterback. He's a psychopath.
Did the movie him?
Wife left him.
Did the movie him not teach you anything?
Yeah, I mean Tom Brady is. They deal with the
What are
devil.
you willing
That
to
was a horrible movie.
sacrifice?
Horrible movie. Played
Anyway,
for him though. RB1. Calling it right now.
nah, it'll still be Kyron. It'll be Kyron.
Well, am I saying all these players are going to be awesome because they're on my dynasty team?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's just a coincidence. It's a coincidence.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I'm a good dynasty player. It's just a
It's
coincidence that all these
absolutely
guys
not.
are also like gonna be all timers.
All right, Kyle. I think it's time. Do you have a one more thing? I've got a crazy one more thing, but you go first.
I had one, but I lost. So you can go first. Maybe I'll remember it.
Okay. Well, I mentioned before the show started that this was one of the craziest one more things I've ever had that was like football related, and there's a chance that you might have heard it. And I just want to preface this by saying some of the allegations and the details of this are very serious. So I do want to preface before I laugh at it because
Viewer
there's one
discretion is involved.
Advised, or if you're on Spotify right now listening to it, advised. But there is just one part of this that is just so just so unbelievably hysterical and just out there that I had to mention it. So did you hear about the Jonathan Cooper stuff?
Oh, is this with the Broncos? The Broncos guy?
So Broncos, yes, Jonathan Cooper and his girlfriend Jade Fagan. They were both arrested over a dispute that the couple had about cheating allegations, right? So Fagan alleges that Cooper was cheating on her. They get into a dispute, and Fagan alleges that Cooper had her by the throat, threw her to the ground, and Cooper contests that he held Fagan's arms while she was attempting to go through her phone. Here's where it gets just super, super crazy. So Fagan included this detail within the police report. It says, Fagan also says that Cooper threatened to break her phone and later ate it.
Oh, I see.
Cooper then acknowledged to police that arrived on the scene that he damaged her phone by putting it in his mouth and eating it. So he ate her phone.
Yeah.
And then he admitted to the police that he ate her phone.
Like, did they get it out? Did he have to poop it out?
I don't. It did not say. I want to know more. I want to know more.
I want to know how he ate it.
I want to know.
He ate a phone. He had to break it, I guess.
Did he like
swallow it whole?
He just ate glass.
Was it a burner phone? It could have been. If it was a burner phone, I could see that because like an iPhone, like that's all square. I can eat that.
You gotta definitely break that. Like
if it's like a sport, like the little phones.
Kyle, I think
that you could eat.
I had so many questions myself. I mean, yeah, was it like a burn? Like I literally thought
the battery out.
I thought the same thing. I was thinking like off the top of my head, I was like, you have to just bend test the iPhone, break it, and then just literally.
Then you're gonna get all cut up from the wires.
Literally gonna kill your throat. Yeah. So
then
I thought.
Maybe he's a magician and she believed he did.
No. Because she accused him of eating the phone, and then he was like, yeah, I ate her phone. Like that's in the police report that you could look.
Yeah, he's doubling down on his trick. A magician never lies.
No, if a magician lies,
will never reveal their secrets.
They'll never reveal their trick, but they'll lie all the time. So then I thought, but you along the lines of you, like, was it a burner phone, one of those little like by the box, like pay by the minute phones, the prepaid minutes on it? That's the only way I could see it being like
his tummy. That's gotta be a big tummy.
Dude, I'm surprised
suffered he didn't need like tummy issues this weekend. I can't imagine eating a phone.
I can't imagine him
really bad.
I can't imagine him like being okay after that. Like I feel like you would need surgery, like emergency surgery to get like how would that even go through your digestive tract? I don't get it.
Look at people eating phones.
I don't understand like how one could eat a phone and then be okay. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Risking severe dental trauma, esophagus lacerations, and atomic chemical exposure from lithium batteries. AI is telling me while eating, scrolling while eating. I was like, what? Because I was like eating phones, and I was like scrolling while eating increases caloric intake and disconnects your brain. It's not good, but conversely, physically ingesting a phone is highly dangerous. Yeah. AI, what are you doing?
I need more details about this.
Risk of eating a phone, literal. Risk of eating with your phone, distracted.
I just don't
I
understand.
want to like see what AI says if I say how to stop eating your phone.
I just don't understand like how. But here's the thing, the details of the arrest, right? She said that she noted that the phone contained irreplaceable messages and voice notes from her late mother, which Cooper was aware of, which sucks. But I feel like
sucks.
most smartphones are capable of doing that. I don't know if a flip phone could like. I know you have like your your voicemail box, which is possible. So like voice notes could be voicemail, which you could absolutely have on like an older flip phone, and messages I suppose would be saved on there too. So it's not
Could be an older phone.
entirely, it's not entirely off the table that it was like a flip phone, but like I need to know more about this. So if anybody hears anything more about this story and they can contribute to it, I need to know more about this phone eating situation. Just very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. All right. What do you got for me, Kai? Because we're gonna wrap up.
So
about
my
2 hours
last
now.
my one more thing is New York sports fans, because I think that they're hypocrites because they always complain that Philly fans destroy the whole city.
Yo, did you
and
see
they're
yesterday?
they're basically doing the same thing in New York, and they're like, "Oh, we're so much better than Philly. We don't blow up our city," and they literally are
you
doing the
did.
same thing. The only reason why it's different is because New York split for every team except for the Knicks. Go Knicks though. And I just think every fan base with like in the Northeast, like Boston, New York, and Philly, I think they're all literally the same, and they act like they're different, and they're all actually the same, and it bothers me.
It's a good theory. No, but the
I think it's the
videos
same. I
yesterday
think
were crazy, dude. Of them like beating up
the
the
big
Spurs
thing. I think
fans
New
and
York
stuff.
fans are, because it's so close to Philly. They're the same mentality. It's just the
Yeah.
difference is that their teams suck, and they have to split the fan base for the baseball.
It's the same mentality.
Football, it's split fan bases, and the teams suck.
It's the same mentality where it's like we're the best, screw everybody else. It's essentially what it is.
Yeah, every fan. It's the fan short for fanatic. It just bothers me. Anybody who complains about Eagles fan being too crazy, they all are. It's just the Eagles fans are just they're more united.
No one likes us. We don't care. That's
but they're
it.
all the same. Like it's all the same mob mentality and stuff. Yeah, it's nuts.
No one likes us. We don't care.
Hypocrites.
That's what it is.
Yeah, hypocrites.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. Longer was it longer this week? I don't know. Where are we at? We're sitting at about an hour 50, I think. Let us know if you like this format of the show better. This was suggested by Kyle. We kind of just like speed it up, rapid fire questions, and we'll get into all the nitty and gritty stuff. Don't worry, back in August and whatnot as the year starts. We'll get into all the nitty gritty, but this is more of a general. What do we think about each team going on in 2026? What are your expectations? How you feeling? And we kind of touched on, some of the draft picks and the acquisitions and the losses and whatnot. So let us know if you like this format better. I personally think it went better. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, Kyle, but we got half the AFC left. We didn't do. So
no, it's done. We did enough during our final questions. I'll see you guys in August. It's so hard talking football when like there's nothing's going on. This was nice to do because of like the Myles Garrett and AJ Brown stuff.
It was like perfect timing, right? So we had finally like the last little bit right before OTAs and mandatory minicamp started to step in. Now it's like we got the dog days.
The thing
in
is,
July,
like talking about it now,
up.
it just feels like once training camp starts, like half the stuff we say might be out the window.
Yeah, right. So look, if we want to do something similar to this for the other half of the AFC, I think maybe we'll do that in August. Once we do a couple more shows.
Sorry, NFC South, AFC South, and
AFC
West
South,
fans.
AFC West. We owe you one. We owe you one. So we'll see y'all in August unless something crazy happens. But if not, you'll hear from us very soon. Don't worry. Enjoy the summer. It'll start to cool down, and once it does, we'll be back. And be on the lookout for some new merch because I think a little birdie told me that some hats might be coming this off season.
Oh my god, I need hats so bad.
Look at Kyle. He doesn't have any hair. He needs hats.
I don't have a hat. I need
hats. He needs hats to improve his head likability. That's really mean.
And
sorry.
To prevent skin cancer.
That's the better one. There you go. He needs some shade on the top of his dome, and that's what the hats will do. So I'm gonna be looking into it. Kyle's gonna give me the okay. We're gonna look into it. Be on the lookout because we might be selling some hats. Probably around August. So give us about a month. We'll get on it, but we'll start the pre-order for hats soon. If you're interested, we'll try and make them affordable and good quality because that's what you deserve as a fan of picks. Quality and affordability, and that's what you get here. So we'll see y'all in August. And in the meantime, enjoy the summer because we've had some really good weather, and knock on wood, it's going to continue. So
yeah.
Peace out, everyone. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in with us.